Psalm 19. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words. Their voice is not heard. Yet their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In the heavens he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom from his wedding canopy, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and nothing is hid from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The decrees of the Lord are sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, even much fine gold, sweeter also than honey, and drippings of the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is your servant warned. In keeping them there is great reward. But who can detect their errors? Clear me from hidden faults. Keep back your servant also from the insolent. Do not let them have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. Psalm 19 is a psalm of praise. It's a song of praise. And as I was reading it, I realized that there was a word that I didn't truly understand. I could get sort of what it meant by the context, but I had this feeling that I needed to go look it up. And the word is right at the beginning, firmament, Firmament, or something like that. And so I looked it up, and I want to read you the definition that I found. Now, firmament is the heavens or the sky, especially when regarded as a tangible thing. And I had that pretty much pegged from the context. And so when we look up and when we talk about heaven, this is a very real and tangible thing. We're being told by our Bible, this firmament, it's not a figment of our imagination. It is real. When Jesus is talking about heaven, it is real, very tangible. It is something that we can touch eventually, and that can touch us. Now, with definitions, there's often more than one definition. So I kept reading down. Firmament also means a sphere or worldview as a collection of people. A sphere or worldview as a collection of people. That means it's made up of a person, us, but it's also made up of multiple people. So there is a sphere of influence that is of us, and a sphere of influence over a collective of people. So the firmament is not just only heaven. It is this tangible collection, this collective of us all. We are all a part of the firmament. That's pretty cool, I thought. And I think this word was used on purpose in the Bible. I think it's used to sort of remind us of something. Let me give you an example. Now, I do these videos every week. I enjoy doing these videos. It's been a way for me to engage in some creative outlet, to approach my ministry in a different manner, and it reaches folks that don't necessarily come to our sanctuary or can't come to our sanctuary for various reasons. Maybe they live too far away. Maybe it's not safe for them to go out yet, or maybe they don't travel. Whatever. I make them, and oftentimes they come together very easily. Oftentimes I can find the location, I can find the place, I can say what I'm going to say without much difficulty, without many cuts and rewinding or redoing. Last Sunday at the pond, y'all might remember, was not one of those videos. That video fought me every single step of the way. From the location, I went to 3 different places trying to find water that looked right. One of the places, they had a pond and it had a shopping cart in the middle of it. I'm like, that's not going to work. And besides, I didn't feel safe being there. But it just took me forever to find a body of water and then to find the right lighting. And I still wasn't happy. I said that in the video last week. I wasn't happy with the lighting, and y'all might have noticed it kept going in and out and in and out. It fought me every single step of the way. What was I going to say? How was I going to say it? Had many takes, many flubs, and had to restart it all over again. And it was just, I was convinced that the video was just, it was just going to be terrible. And so as I finally got it done, and I'm walking back to the trail, because I had to walk like a half a mile to get to the right, almost right, not quite right piece of water. And as I'm walking back, I slip and I fall, and actually fall into the pond that I was throwing rocks into. My new shoes get dirty. I skin my knee like I haven't skinned my knee since I was a kid. And I hurt my hand, and on the same process, I broke the lens on my phone that I'm using to tape these things with, and almost broke my easel that holds it, or whatever that's called. It was just, it's like one more thing, and I got to tell you, it fought me every single step of the way. And even after I got it done and edited it and put on YouTube, I was just in a lousy, no good, rotten mood. And I was sitting there, and I was just all night long, all the rest of the day and into the evening, I was sitting there going, this is horrible. I hate this. I'm terrible at this. I don't want to do this. My knee hurts. Why does my knee hurt so badly? And why me, God? Why? This is terrible. And I wish I could say I was being dramatic for effect. I wish I could say that. But I wasn't. It was all about me, and it was all about my world, and my world was going to pot. And I was getting depressed, and it was really getting me into a spiral, and I just didn't like being there. And we can do that, can't we? We can get so caught up in our own little struggles, in our own little world, that we think when everything goes badly, like it did last Friday, we think that's the end all be all. And we can do this collectively too. I mean, how many of us watch the news every night, and it's just bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. Oh, a little glimmer of hope, but there's bad news wrapped all around it. And we begin to think as a society that, good Lord, it must be horrible out there. It's terrible. Look at what's happening in our schools and in our communities. Oh, the world is going to seed, and oh Lord, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And we know it's accurate, and it's got to be done well, because the guy with the nicely coiffed hair tells us that it's accurate and done well, and we believe these editors and these producers of these news clips, and we all begin to think collectively that this world is horrible, and if it's horrible here in America, it must be horrible everywhere, and oh no, what are we going to do? And we get wrapped up in this collective selves of drama. Firmament is about seeing beyond ourselves, beyond our collective fears, beyond what we know as true because the nicely coiffed hair man says it's true. and we actually see the true truth. Zig Ziglar was a famous motivational speaker. And he spoke mainly to business folks, but he also spoke of his faith. And Zig Ziglar's, one of his famous quotes, I just love that name, Zig Ziglar. But one of his famous quotes was, "I read the paper every day and the Bible every day. That way I know what both sides are up to." Now you could hear this quote and say that Zig Ziglar was talking about good and evil, evil being the media and good being the Bible. But I also think there's more to this quote than just that. I think Zig Ziglar was somebody who had a distinct knowledge and understanding of the importance of keeping the firmament in mind, keeping a perspective. Y'all remember when I was up on the roof talking about perspective? This is what we're talking about. This firmament that is made up of us individually and us collectively, and is even beyond our collective beings. This heavenly firmament. And I think this is what Zig Ziglar is talking about, is making sure that in everything that he does, that he is keeping a perspective that is beyond just himself, beyond just what he knows to be true and the actual truth. And I think that's why that word is in the Bible. The firmament is so important for us to remember and to engage in. And I think that's why Psalms like Psalm 19 are so important for us to read in their entirety, to help us to remember this one very important question. And it's a question that is actually throughout the Bible. You never actually read the question, but it is being asked throughout the Bible. And it's one that we must ask ourselves over and over and over again. And it helps us keep a firm grasp on what the firmament is and what it means. Are you ready for the question? And it's going to be difficult for you to remember. Is God still God? Is God still God? That's the question. That's the question God wants us to ask of ourselves and of our world and what's going on and how we're behaving in it. Is God still God? Is God still God? By the way, the answer to the question is yes. Yes before, yes now, and yes after. God will still be God. And see, it's a question of perspective, right? When my knee was hurting and I was feeling like that nothing was going right in my world and I should just give up and just forget making videos and forget preaching and just is God still God? That is a question that brings you right back to what's important. You know? Yeah, my knee still hurt. Yeah, I still struggled with the video that day. Yeah, out in my street, they're doing construction right now. I wanted to do this outside and I can't because there's beep, beep, beeping. And all of that is important and it makes for annoyances, but in the grand scheme of things, God is still God. That has not changed. That will never change. That's knowing the firmament. Knowing that we collectively, individually, as a nation, as a world, are still being looked over, cared for, loved by God. God is still God. So my friends, when the traffic gets terrible and you think that everybody has forgotten how to drive, when your family is just driving you absolutely insane and tearing down your boundaries like nobody's business, when you fall and you skin your knee and it hurts and you got a big boo-boo and all you want to do is go to bed and wake up the next day and hope it's better. Remember, God is still God. The firmament is still all around us. We are still a part of a creation began many, many years ago. Many years ago. And it is still going on to this day. And take heart in that. Take heart that in this world there is something bigger than you, bigger than all of us. And know that you are loved and that you are cared for in that firmament. That is what Psalm 19 is about. That is what this love letter we call the Bible is telling us. God is still God. On that, you can depend. On that, you can find a perspective that can get you through anything. Even a skinned knee and a broken screen on your phone. Amen.